Welcome to Record Cutting Club, and today's guest is Mr. Nick Wallace from various bands up here, and which he'll tell us more about in a second. So are you ready to cut some records?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, let's go. While I do a little bit of setting up, why don't you tell us about you and your various bands that you play in?
Main one is the Suitcase Rags Trio, which is a skiffly blues type thing.
Yeah.
Which is T-chest bass, suitcase percussion, guitar, and various other people joining us on violin, saxophones, harmonicas. But this, what we're doing here, is Tsar Nicholas III and the Exiles, which is my sort of songwriting kind of messing about-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
The one that I write all the strange songs on.
The strange songs.
Yeah.
And just in case anyone doesn't know, because they might not, what is a T-chest bass that you just mentioned before?
It's an old T-chest with a washing line string, pole, and you tension, boom, 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 and that creates the bass frequency. And Joel is the world's greatest T-chest bass player.
He is very good.
He is. Find him on YouTube. He's got one string and he puts his heart and soul into it.
Yeah. This might sound silly, but might have to explain what a T-chest is, because some people might not even know what.
So it's a wooden box.
Yeah.
About this big, which it was filled with tea and shipped over here.
Yeah.
From China. So you cut a hole in the front of it as a sound hole, and attach the washing line inside and the pole, and then that creates the bass frequency like a trombone. So that is how you would create the notes.
Got you, yeah.
Same scale as a trombone. Yeah.
So it's like a one string double bass kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about vinyl and your sort of journey with vinyl. Is it been like a lifelong thing, or relatively new, or?
I've always had vinyl.
Yeah.
I've got a vinyl collection.
Yeah.
I've got 4 record players in our house. First record I bought was The Muppet Show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Double album.
Yeah.
That's that, yeah. And so from that moment on, it's been records. I mean, it was big, wasn't it? So you'd go and buy a record every week, like a 7-inch or.
Yeah.
And you buy them from the chemist.
Right. Yeah.
Where I'm from, there were a chemist that used to sell records.
Right.
I think they're called Fame, the Fame series.
Right.
And you could get like pretty much loads of compilations of people on those.
Right. Yeah.
So your local chemist would sell records.
Yeah.
So yeah, always had records right from.
And you there wasn't any point where you they went out of fashion and you thought, I'm just going to sell all my records and get rid of them. And
no, I have. I mean, I have sold some records when times were hard.
Yeah.
But now it's with regret, and whenever I've moved house, the first thing you set up's the record player.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really been a big thing in your life, eh?
Yeah, it has, and it was like when you're young, it's always the rock and pop stuff, and now I'm older, it's kind of into the jazzier side of things. I'm collecting that kind of world now, and the oldie blues stuff, and never ending.
Yeah. Cool. And hence, today you're getting even more.
Yes.
So one more to add to the collection.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do before we, because we're going to cut this track, it's a 7.5 minute track, so that won't fit on a 7-inch, obviously. Well, I say obviously, but people might not know. So we'll cut that onto a 10-inch record, but I've just got an old 12-inch that I'm using for test cuts. So what I do, there's a pile behind you here on there that I use just to do test cuts. So what we're going to do is just cut cut a little groove into here, do a little test cut just so we can see, have a look at the groove, make sure the width and the depth is all right. Play a little bit of audio through and just sort of check it before we go ahead and cut the whole thing. So I'm just going to put a vacuum on, a bit loud. And there we go. So you'll be able to hear it coming, the music coming out of the head. So yeah, have a look, you can see your grooves being cut.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So you might be able to see on there, like some look kind of smooth and some look like they're sort of wobbling a bit.
Yeah.
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 So what we're doing is sort of keeping an eye on that and making sure the grooves don't get too close together. So we'll stop the audio. Turn that on a little bit. And then lift that off. Oh. So we just do a test cut, and that's sort of one reason is so we can listen back to it and check everything's all right. And the other reason is so we can have a look at the grooves, and that'll help tell us how much more volume we can put into the cutting head and get from the record. So once we engage the cutter head down, it'll start cutting a groove, and then it's up to me. I press play on the computer, and then
brilliant. Yeah.
So what we do is usually start cutting on the outside, and then we wind the cut head in just slowly like that, and you get the little leading groove on the outside. So there's a couple of seconds of silence, and then it'll, because it's engaged onto this feed screw, it'll just start moving at a steady rate inwards.
You know that Mark Hollis last record they did? You know, the guy from Talk Talk?
Oh, right, yeah.
Really sort of spacious, kind of minimalist thing. He has this thing where, and I thought it was something wrong, but it's obviously not, where there's like about 5 seconds of nothing at the beginning, and then when the piece ends, the record's still got about another 5 seconds playing of silence as well. So I suppose just thought that was fascinating that he'd done that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some crazy things people have done with cutting records. There's one where they've cut a groove which is a spiral, right?
Yeah.
And then they've spaced the spiral enough so that they've cut a second groove inside the spiral. So depending on where you land your playback head, you get 2 different tracks.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's cool. Yeah. So there's crazy things you can do. I've not experimented with that kind of stuff yet. You know, that's. But you can get really creative with cutting the record, and you can put secret tracks on by doing a locked groove and then starting the cut again and stuff like that. So.
And I remember as well when that kind of late 80s period, they used to write on the. People used to scratch in. In fact, I've got a couple of 7 inches where it's only on one side, and then the other side is just plain, and they've drawn like all over it, and scratched on it.
Oh,
you know?
cool! Yeah.
I've got a couple of them.
Most cutting engineers who cut the master lacquer for getting pressed records done will etch their name into it and a sort of a little code so that they know when it's at the pressing plant they can identify the lacquers and stuff like that. Yeah. If you have a look through the microscope and just move the platter slightly, you'll be able to see that the grooves are all sort of waving around a bit.
Yeah. Artwork sorted.
Yeah, yeah. A few people say that actually. They see that and try to get a photo of it. And, right, I'm going to use that as the artwork. So we'll have a quick listen, and then as long as that's good, we'll be ready to we'll be ready to cut. Got quite a bit of dust on there.
Tossed out on the street.
Sounds good. Yeah, yeah. What do you reckon?
Yeah, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Good.
There's a few pops and crackles on these
Yeah.
because these are cut. You get a bit of the debris in the grooves. So what will happen is you'll notice after a couple of plays, you'll notice your playback needle have a big ball of dust on it.
Right.
So they actually sound better after a few plays because the playback needle clears the groove out.
What about the old, the velvet
The
record cleaner thing?
yeah, you can. Yeah,
That's all good, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
that helps as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts on the sort of role that vinyl plays in sort of your career as a musician and in the industry, I guess. Like, what are your thoughts on the role of like physical media, like vinyl and even cassettes and stuff like that?
Well, it kind of died a death, didn't it?
Mm.
And even CDs now are kind of in that dead world, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it seems to be coming back, as in, it went through a period where people would buy CDs off you, but not records.
Yeah.
And then now it's got to the point where people won't buy CDs off you because they can just download it.
Yeah.
But they'll buy the record.
Yeah.
So it's kind of flipped a little, hasn't it? So CDs are kind of pointless now. And it seems like the records are where people want to invest some money in.
Yeah.
Whereas they don't want to invest in CDs because it's, kind of throwaway, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. And I even hear bands say that people will buy their records even if they haven't got a record player, just because they like the actual physical thing, and there's a good bit of work that goes into the sleeve and the packaging and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of mad that it's come full circle.
It seems to have, yeah.
Although maybe that's not mad. Maybe that just always happens. I think that's the way of the world, hey?
But because CDs can make your own.
Yeah.
I think that's why that people don't see them as with any value, because they can just burn them themselves.
Right, got you. Yeah.
Whereas records, you can't make your own record, can you? Oh well, most people can't.
No, no. Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. So records is the future. It's the way forward.
Yeah.
Especially lathe cut ones, because then each one's individual.
Yeah.
Made by hand.
That's
love, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not even the music that's on there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is my message that I'm trying to preach is, and it's not necessarily just because I'm cutting records and it's a thing that I do. It's the whole idea of getting a small run of something, and it being like limited and handmade,
and precious.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to just disposable.
Yeah.
It becomes a precious item, which is what you want it to be, because the music's supposed to be that as well.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know it is something that a lot of artists struggle with, because as we were talking before we started filming about how you saying you feel the pressure to have your stuff up on Spotify and have everything up online for free and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There is a pressure to do that.
It becomes sort of worthless, doesn't it? Because anyone could just access it for free, and there's no. You're just giving it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no comeback for you.
Mm.
You just put it up there, and people listen to it or they don't. But then, there's no reward in that, is there?
Yeah. I guess some people have have sort of said that the whole discoverability thing is the plus side for streaming, where fans might discover you through that, and then they can go on to buy a record or come to a gig or whatever it is and support you in that way. So I guess there's that.
Advertising, really, isn't it? Then
yeah, I guess so.
That, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
You do feel like you have to put it up there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Yeah. So maybe let's do a vinyl only release at some point. Hey, no, that's not going on Spotify.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So right, let's do that. Let's get that. That's the beginning. Let's get the vacuum on. But these were made so you could start recording on one, and as that record was getting to the end, you flip these switches and it continued recording on the other one. Yeah.
So instead of having a double album, you could have a 16-inch.
Yeah.
With all the tracks on.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
But you can't play it.
I can get 14-inch blanks. That'd give you an extra few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, an idea.
In fact, one of the little really tiny records as well.
Yeah, you can get 5-inch ones.
5-inch records.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same size as a CD.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Even more limited.
Yeah. So I think you get about 2 minutes on those.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Right.
So. Yeah.
About a 2-minute song.
Yeah. Yeah.
A jingle.
Yeah. But yeah, in theory, for lathe cuts, you could get any size you want. Obviously, for pressing plants, the presses are made in a set size, so you can only get 7, 10s, and 12s.
Yeah.
But because we're cutting, I could get an 8-inch record made, or an 11, or 12, 13, 14, or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a bulk, so you're doing 10, do you do them both running at the same time? Can you feed them off?
Yeah, I can. So this machine, I can cut two of the same thing at once. Yeah.
That saves a little bit of time.
Yeah. Kind of need to if I'm doing runs of more than a one-off. Then
you need to have at least 2 going to keep time down.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's all in real time.
Yeah. Although if I'm doing a 12-inch album, I'll do that on this machine, and I'll cut that just one at a time.
Right.
Because I've got to do the track spacers, stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah, because you don't line it all up with all 10 tracks or whatever.
Yeah, it'll all be lined up there, but then when a bit of silence comes in between the tracks, I wind the cutting head on, so you get the little gaps on, so people can find the song.
So it won't have that otherwise.
No,
it'll
just be one
continuous track.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So I've got to stand there and keep an eye, and between every track do a little wind.
Right.
So I cut albums one at a time, but singles and 10 inches I cut 2 at a time. And then this is set up for cutting at 45, and then this is set up for cutting at 33 as well. So
you can change the speed. You could do that at 33.
I could do on this one, yeah. This one, it's only got a 33 motor in it.
Right.
So I can change the speed on the computer and adjust that, so I can still cut a 45 on this.
What about quality? Is it any different with 33 and 45?
You lose a little bit at 33 as you get closer to the centre of the record. So that's why 7 inches are typically done at 45, and then you can cut 12 inch at 33, and for the most part it'll be fine. And usually the last track on an album, a 33, would be, you'd have a bit of a quieter track. to finish the side with, because you sort of you lose a bit as you get right towards the middle. Yeah. It's like if you imagine a record, you get one rotation at the outer edge, you get this much, but at the inner edge, you get that much. It's like
so it's starting to,
it's like if you go to the cinema, imagine the screen is just getting smaller as the film goes on. So the last bit of the film is, you know, you're on a smaller screen, so you wouldn't put like the big action sequence at the very end. Although you probably would for a film, but you know, the analogy doesn't work that way. So that's the track finished.
It's like Frankenstein's monster.
The lathe.
Yeah. It's alive.
Yeah. Yeah, they all are. Yeah, because they're so old, every owner sort of adds their own little modifications to them. So even there's a few of these around. I think there's a couple in the UK, but they're all very different. There's some, you know, people have put like a playback arm on or a computer system inside it, and they, apart from this bit, they all look quite different. Get that test cut out of the way.
I suppose if you're putting something on the other side as well, you have to be careful, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're cutting an album, you can cut a whole side, flip it over, cut nearly the whole side of side B, and something could go wrong, and it's
back to square one.
Yeah. So it really is, it's a time-consuming process. Yeah.
It's delicate.
Yeah.
Fragile.
Yeah. So there we go, finished record. What do you reckon?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was great.
You're officially part of the record cutting club.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
it's an honour.
Yeah, yeah. Well, nice. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
And before we go, tell us where people can find you if they want to check out more of your music.
Spotify, YouTube, all those things, all those. Amazon, what's the other one? Apple.
Bandcamp.
Yeah, there's all that. Suitcase Rags Trio, and this one's Tsar Nicholas III and the Exiles.
Cool. So we'll make sure we put links to that up in the description. And for now, thanks Nick for coming in. It's been really interesting chatting. Love the track as well. Very cool. So maybe you'll get some more done at some point, and people might be able to buy one even. Who knows? Yeah. Sounds like a good idea. Yeah, yeah. Cheers. Cool. So thanks for watching Record Club. Make sure you like and share, subscribe and all that good stuff. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.